Hello. Another Sashiko live streaming. Today will be a little different because there was a little incident that I kind of dislike myself. So I'm gonna do Sashiko to soothe myself, like meditation purpose. It is a very, very small thing, but that agitate me a lot. So yep, I'll be just online for 45 minutes. I was doing that by myself, but without talking, meditation became like blaming myself on, so I just decided to do it with the audience, so I will not hate myself much. Anyway, as always, I will be open for questions, so if you have any questions, please leave that. I'll be just doing Sashiko stitching with talking. So Sashiko is very good kind of custom or habit for me to meditate, to calm myself down. Why is it so bad? The connection is so bad. Sashiko is really good in terms of soothing yourself. It's like a meditation. You can think a lot of things in your brain, but since you're moving your hand as well, you can focus on what you do right now instead of the other daily things. It has the purpose that your hand will be busy with stitching, actual stitching, and your brain can kind of a little bit rest. Mindfulness about what you do. So when I get stressed out, when I get some incident that I kind of have to calm myself, I used to go for running, but running is great way to kind of soothe yourself. At the same time, this Sashiko stitching is also a very good way to soothe yourself. Wow. Just a second, this video is pretty bad. Why is it so? It is sometimes a good idea to have music background or radio. But when you have something that you wanna resolve by yourself, something not that big to discuss to your family or friend, or something that is embarrassing enough to not to share to the others, yet you have to solve it with it inside of you. It is always good idea to have some time to talk to yourself instead of thinking what happened. So when you make a stitch, part of your brain focus on your hand to make stitches, but at the same time the other rest of the brain can think about what happened or something you want to talk to yourself. In those situations, Sashiko can be very powerful meditation technique because you can use yourself as the third person who kind of talk about what happened, how embarrassing it was, or how sad it was. It is always better to talk to somebody about it, and having somebody to talk to, and somebody listening to you what happened is always a good idea to soothe yourself and distress you. But the process of stitching and thinking about something happened to you, either good or bad, is a good way to meditate, to be mindful who you are and what's going on. So for me, well, since I'm talking to the YouTube to general public, it's kind of embarrassing, but well, what the heck. So I had an appointment to fix my water heater this morning to the plumber. And after the plumber, I think the plumber kind of touched the radon. What do you call that? Radium, like fan to eliminate radon gas from the house. I think he or anybody, like, it's not a big deal. Like the plumber probably touched that pipe or something, and then seems like the little tiny tube to the pressure gauge, like pressure measurement, got off. And I didn't know that there is a plastic tube required to attach to the gauge. This is the first house we own. I am from Japan. We don't know what's going on. Like in Japan, I don't think we have any fan to eliminate radon. So I didn't know what was going on, and I kind of got freaked out what to do because the manual says that if it goes below zero or around zero, we have to call them. And interestingly, it was about time to call them for the inspection. And usually I kind of Google what's going on. I usually spend enough time to understand the situation. But today, because the plumber came this morning, I had to be very socialized, and I was socialized already, so I just called them and asked for the help. Then my English kicks in, and I didn't explain well probably to those radon specialists, and he didn't understand what was going on. Well, at least he didn't tell his crew what was going on with me. And then he sent the crew to check what's going on, which I didn't ask specifically for. I just called them to do two things. A, do the radon check, because that was about due. And the second thing is I like checking what's going on with the gauge. So he came without any idea what's going on with me. And he pointed out that the plastic tube was off, and that was like literally a second fix. 1 second fix. That was so embarrassing. It's like calling the electrician without knowing where the electric panel is and where the breaker is. And he just pretty much pointed out the breaker, and what you have to do is turn the breaker on, switch on. of course I had to pay. I mean, I paid the service fee. Those things kind of bothers me. The reason is it's not their fault or anybody's fault. It's just my fault that I didn't care. I didn't spend enough time to research or to convince myself to do one thing. It's more like I didn't do my job to get a good result. And that really bothers me. And well, the next thing, of course, I can find another problems which can blame on the others, is that he was technically speaking. I wanted that radon specialist to bring the test kit so I could ask him to do the test instead of just pointing out the problems by second. So, well, if he came with the test kit, he could have done a test instead of just checking and paying the service fee. But he didn't have it, so I have to do another appointment. That's gonna cost another service fee. So it's just a hectic day for me. It's not a lot of job. I was just calling around and I didn't do pretty much anything, but it's just sad that I didn't do enough. By nature, I really want to do everything by myself. If it's electric work, I kind of try to do by myself because the worst case scenario, I'll be electrocuted or, some bad smell. Plumbing is a little bit different story because the worst case scenario, the whole house will get water. So I don't want to do that. So when I get those God, I hate myself more, I try to use Sashiko as a technique to meditate or to talk to myself. Sashiko is not only it is just simply just the bending and making pattern with hand stitching, but because of its simplicity, it is really good technique to learn how to calm yourself down. See, I'm not calm, so I cannot thread the needle. Come on. It really affects, by the way. So when I want to do very, very fine, careful, stitch, I probably shouldn't do it right now. But since this is the jeans, this is not for the order. I just do it whatever I want. It's sometimes just sad. Life is life. Sometimes life is full of disappointment. Not every day is great. So when something bad happens, something sad happens, I rely on Sashiko to calm myself. Trying to make even stitches really helps to feel better. After all, this is the Sashiko live stitching without a passion of with. Today I don't have a passion to talk about Sashiko a lot, so I'll just make a Sashiko stitching to talk about how good meditation skill this can be. The best usage of this meditation Sashiko is to have a group of people doing Sashiko together and talk about small things, small talks. It really, really helps. Is the quality of video okay? Mine's kind of not good. I don't see anything what I'm doing. Is this what's going on to everybody? Well, actually, my camera is doing okay. When I think of that, when I think of the like side effect of doing Sashiko, like positive side effect of doing Sashiko, to calm yourself or to soothe your feeling, I wonder how it was like when the old like the Japanese people few hundred years ago did the same thing. Sashiko was mainly a women's job. Men work outside for farming or cutting the wood. Women, the wives, mend men's jacket or pants over the winter so that they can work outside again the next summer. So that's the kind of origin of Sashiko. I wonder women who had a very, very less power comparing to right now, like they didn't have, back then women didn't have much authority or power. I wonder if they talk to themselves by making these stitches. You know, life. I think that women had a lot of things to complain to, but the complaining to the husband was not considered okay, I guess. I don't have any like references, so I'm just speaking out of my mind. But if that's the case, I think women put a lot of their personality into Sashiko to express who they are and their emotions, including frustrations, anger, of course, happiness and joys and stuff like that. So when I have to arrange my feeling, when I have to soothe my feeling, either too excited for the good news or too, I wouldn't say depressed, but too down by something you beautiful, like something you, it's something happened unfortunately or by your mistake. Like speeding ticket. Oh yeah, I barely got a speed ticket, but twice in my life. You know, that's one of those days like, why did I do that? Like, I knew that it wasn't good. Sometimes you even didn't know that it was like speed zone. Like you were driving 60 miles per hour. The the sign said that it's 60 miles per hour, but when you enter the city zone, sometimes the sign's not as visual, as vivid, as clear as it should, and you just realize that you're driving 60 miles, but the actual speed limit is 40. Then you get a speed ticket. That's really, really sad. And it's really frustrating. You might want to blame somebody. You could, you know, the sign was not there. You could blame somebody. No, 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 no. But after all, you have to kind of you have to find yourself to be okay with that. It already happened. The ticket is already in your hand. You can plea to non guilty, but usually you were just driving that speed on the road you was not supposed to. So it happened. It happens. So in those days, instead of drinking, well, I kind of quit drinking 5 years ago. I probably used to drink when those things happened, but I now try to use Sashiko to calm myself down, to talk to myself. Sashiko is a work from ordinary Japanese people. I mean, sorry, Sashiko was developed as the ordinary work job in ordinary day of ordinary Japanese. It was very ordinary. There was nothing special about it. That's why there are tons of many kinds of sashiko patterns or sashiko cultures everywhere in Japan. So because it was very simple, every day the people who did sashiko had a different individual emotions like I do right now. So I think it is another kind of way to enjoy sashiko. I keep saying sashiko is not a result much. I'm stitching Asanoha patterns right now. But Asanoha pattern with sashiko stitching itself is not actually sashiko. We can go sashiko fabric or sashiko stitching, but I think sashiko is a process of making those stitching. Making stitching means we usually define that with the four purposes: repairing, decorating, strengthening, and mending. If you have those purposes in making hand stitch, I think that's sashiko. But at the same time, sashiko is more than that, I think. It's more personal thing. By me saying personal thing is that people put a lot of emotions into sashiko. And those stitches have some meaning. Today was a good day, today was a bad day, today was a sad day, today was a happy day. Stitches makes every day kind of calm and acceptable. Fighting what you want is the beauty of this 2018. In this capitalism world, you should fight for what you want to get. I understand that, and I am that too. At the same time, however, it is very important to learn how to be okay with who you are, to not to win everything you want. At least that's what I think. So when you want to be okay, when I want to be okay with myself, what I need is the time to talk to myself. Not to think. It's not about thinking. Thinking or planning, self-judge yourself. By thinking or by thinking, I judge myself and I try to create another goal, another strategy to overcome what I want. So you have to kind of talk to yourself. But talking to yourself is kind of difficult when you just have you and nobody else. And if you have somebody next to you, you kind of talk to that person, which is great. So I use sashiko to kind of talk to myself and to be okay with who I am, which took a long time to be okay with who I am, but I think this is the beauty of sashiko too. Like it's really, really simple. Once you get how to do that, you don't even have to think much. You just have to move your hand and needle. When it comes to that, you can talk to yourself. Well, right now I'm talking to the camera, but when I do it by myself, I can talk to myself that it's okay. It's okay that it didn't go as I wish. I made a mistake. But that is okay. It's not the end of the world. Let's cry it out and let it go. The difference between talking to myself without Sashiko and with Sashiko is that without Sashiko, I try to find a solution. Either how I can solve it, how I can change myself, what I learned from that lesson. No, 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 no. That's more like thinking and making strategies to be better. Better in my definition, not anybody's definition, my definition. Because when I feel sad, usually I made a mistake. But the mistake has been made, and that's who you are, who I am. So I have to be okay with that. I want to be okay with it. And when I want to be okay with it, Sashiko is a wonderful technique for that. Even right now, this broadcasting is pretty much talking to myself. I really recently I don't feel much devastated like this. I found my way to be okay with myself, so it's really rare to be like this. That I wanna just vanish. Don't wanna face myself with my mistake. I thought it might be a good idea to put myself online, explain how I think about Sashiko in terms of meditation. Or this was a video about me explaining how I think of Sashiko without actual making stitches, like without techniques, without history, without what you should do. Sashiko as kind of like a lifestyle. I hope that makes sense. If you enjoy Sashiko, I think you kind of feel the same way of Sashiko being very soothing. It is very soothing. When I think of why it is so soothing, I came to the conclusion that it is because you can talk to yourself when I do that, when you make Sashiko stitching. Interesting, the result of Sashiko stitching can be very affected by the emotions you got. So, if you want to do very fine art piece with Sashiko stitching, like you have to make very, very specifically even stitches, you might want to check your emotions on that day too. But again, Sashiko is the result of ordinary days of stitching. So it's really good that the stitching has some personality, I think. So oops. See, when I don't focus, I stab myself a lot. Sashiko stitches really, really shows your personality. That's why I really don't feel scared or scared by the Sashiko machine stitch. I mean, there's a Sashiko machine. You can make a stitching like Sashiko with machine, not with hand. When they released that, many people worried about me, and I myself worried about it too, if that machine might take over everything what I do. In reality, no, it's beautiful. That machine, the Sashiko patterns which machine makes is very beautiful, but it is completely different. Like I kind of categorize them differently. There's Sashiko, but Sashiko stitching with personality, like who made it and the person who made it, how they were thinking, how they were doing back then, and those kind of matters to the product or result. Okay, that was about it. I'll come back with the other Sashiko tutorials, I hope. Please let me know if you have any questions on the YouTube channel. I'll try to answer that next time I'm online. Thank you. Bye bye.